What's going on, guys? Gronix here, and as you might be able to hear from my voice, I'm very, very under the weather at the moment. But we are here for week 4 of the Pick'em Cruise. I promised you guys that we would have a Pick'em Cruise, and I'm very, very sorry to Joey, who I have on the call right now. I've been keeping him been waiting for a long time. Joey, what's the story, man?
All right, I'm ready to try my luck. No Pick'em Crew has been good so far, so I still have a chance. I still have a chance to make a name for myself here.
Actually, to be fair, we've gotten a lot of these wrong, so we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna go through each of the battles except for Zilix and Infinite. If you don't want to know the result of that game, skip forward about 5 seconds. Infinite 1-3-0. So we're not gonna talk about that game because that game's already taken place. However, we're gonna talk about the 7 games that are gonna take place, and there are a lot of cool matchups this week. We have Zach versus Haunter. We're gonna start off with these two. Zach is sitting, I believe, 3-0. Yeah, he is 3-0 with a great...
With a 17 differential.
Absolutely incredible score. I mean, if Zach keeps going the way he's going, I don't know if anyone's going to beat him. But you have Haunter, who I think is a fantastic battler. I really think Haunter is great, and he took over from Kraft, and his team is a little bit unorthodox because of that. Because Kraft drafted a shit team, so Haunter definitely has the deck stacked against him. I'm so fucking sick. Joey, what do you think?
You know, there's no reason to kind of pick against Zach at this point. Like, he has just, his team is so perfect. It's not the best. He doesn't have the best Fire, Water, Grass core, and he doesn't have the best Fairy, Dragon, Steel core in the league, but he's got a pretty damn good one of both. You know, the Tapu Bulu has his Fairy and his Grass type. He's got the Heatran for his Steel and his Fire type. Zygarde 10% as his Dragon type. Suicune as his Water type. Fortress is surprisingly gonna really good. As long as you have switch-ins for Fortress, defensively to help it out in case there's a super effective hit, then it's golden. And it looks like, you know, the only real problem that's gonna be there is Volcanion, and Zach has 2 or 3 answers to that. So, I'm saying Zach here, and I'm seeing him just keep on rolling. I think Zach has a really easy start to the season, so I'm gonna go Zach with the win, 3-0 or 4-0, and yeah. I want Battler X's Disciple to prove me wrong. Dude,
I was literally just about to say I think a 3-0 as well, because Zach, Choice Bandit Zygarde just ripped through Haunter's team. There's not much you can do about it. You know, actually, you know, to be fair, champ is stuff like Jolteon, which Zach has a little bit of trouble stopping. You know, stuff like that.
I was looking at it first, Zygarde can tear through his team, but he's got to get a Dragon Dance or 2 up, and I don't think Haunter has anything on his team that allows that. And I think Cryogonal gets Ice Shard, so...
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of Choice Band, it just kind of kills everything.
Yeah, but... I mean, the thing with that is, if you go Choice Band, then stuff like Jolteon and Mineshaw are going to outspeed you, so you don't necessarily want
Zygarde outspeeds Mienshao.
I mean, the Mineshaw is almost always run Choice, isn't it?
That is true. Actually, yeah. I forgot about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I mean, he would have to run Choice Scarf, so that's interesting. But
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
Haunter's fast stuff doesn't hit hard enough, and Haunter's hard hitting stuff isn't fast enough. So I think Zach's gonna have it's gonna be his most difficult challenge yet. So I think this is where Zach figures out how good his team is and how for real he is.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm going to give it a 3-0 to Zach as well. Haunter, I'm hoping you can pull out a win here, dude. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to move on to Zen versus Erasmus, I believe. And Erasmus made a few trades in the last few weeks. He picked up, Typhlosion for Zoroark and then dropped Typhlosion for Emboar. So Emboar being on the team is a little bit something different. But Erasmus has been doing very, very well. He's currently 2-1. Zen is currently 0-3. Unfortunately, we beat him last week in a very, very, intense game. Zen hasn't started off the season fantastically, but he can definitely still, show that he, has something to do with the league. I mean, Mega Mawile hasn't come a lot, but I think maybe this is the, the week where he changes that. So, Joey, what do you think?
I think Erasmus has the matchup in this one, especially, I mean, the 1 week Erasmus doesn't bring Speed Pass, he loses, so I'm pretty sure Speed Pass is coming there, and then, you've got the likes of passing it into Emboar, Landorus T, which is his Zmon, of course, so that's even scarier. Kingdra, Mega Blastoise, Magearna, Serperior. It doesn't need that speed pass, but it would like it. Latias as well doesn't need the speed pass, but it would like it. So he's just got so many offensive threats that he can speed pass into. And like the one thing that he hasn't brought Magearna yet, but the one thing that holds Magearna back from being like an excellent sweeper is speed. And Erasmus has speed pass. Yeah. So, and the thing with Zen's team is most things on Erasmus's team only need like one speed pass to go against there. So like the Scrafty sticky webs to like try and support Mawile is just not there. You know, who knows how Jirachi is going to come. Jirachi can be definitely a scary thing. Starmie, offensive or defensive, can still kind of be scary. But if he gets a speed pass or two up, then it's kind of GG. Because like the one thing that like can go like I guess like the one thing that can potentially work against speed pass is Flygon can just Dragon Dance up alongside it. But like that's like Zen has to play insanely offensive, and his team is not like the only way you match Erasmus's team is to go offense against offense for him, and
Zen doesn't really have
Zen doesn't have the hyper offense.
Yeah. I was gonna say that you know, Zen does have, I mean, if he does bring Choice Bandit, E-Speed on Arcanine plus Sucker Punch on Mawile, it's going to do a lot. And he has Starmie, which outspeeds everything on Erasmus' team besides the Ninjask. But even that doesn't really hit a lot of things very, very hard. Jirachi, I feel like, actually can be really, really good in this match. If he brings in more of a bulky set, it could be difficult for Erasmus to kill it, especially with a few wishes. You know, stuff like Scrafty can take on the Lando. And the Superior with Ice Punch, stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely in Erasmus' favor, but I do think it's going to be definitely a hit-for-hit game. I'm going to give it a 2-0 to Erasmus.
I'm going to say either 2 or 3-0 Erasmus. With Erasmus, it's always just going to come to like who hits harder and faster first, and Erasmus's team is just like that. Like, unless you have like an insane stall, like back to like harping back to like Source in season 2 and season 3 team, you're not gonna be able to like outlive Erasmus's hard hitters long enough. So yeah. And like the one thing that I would say for Zen's team that's like his scary thing, like the really scary thing you have to prep for is like Sticky Web Scrafty and then Swords Dance Mawile. But like you get Sticky Webs up, okay, that +3 or +4 speed from Ninjask gets moved down 1 and he's still outspeeding everything. So all the stuff that you were like prepping for to potentially beat is just gone. Yeah.
I do think Zen will bring something a little bit unorthodox. I'm sure he'll do something out of the box.
He has to.
For sure.
Like orthodox, this is like a 5-0 for Erasmus if Zen goes orthodox, which is why I'm going 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, I'm sure Zen will do something, but we'll have to see. I think we'll move on. I don't think there's anything else to really say about this game. Yeah, okay, so we'll move on. So, good luck to both of you anyway. Infinite and Silix, we already said, you know, we won't talk about the game that already happened. We move on to Cubchoo and Riolu. Now, this is another really tough matchup for Riolu. He has been doing too hot. You know, his team is definitely keeping him back from doing better. But, you know, Cubchoo definitely, I feel like, has one of the best offensive cores in Thundurus and Fernape. There's very, very few things that can take that on. It usually takes like 2 or 3 mons. And Riolu's team does not handle Thundurus at all, especially with Psychic. It's just too much. It's just too much, and I really don't see any way Riolu comes out of this with a win. Joy, what do you think?
4-0 for Cubchoo. He doesn't even have to bring Mew. Like, he could bring Omastar, Vaporeon, and Thundurus, and nothing on Riolu's team takes a combination of those 3. Yeah. I think, you know, he could bring Infernape as well. I don't know what shenanigans he can do with that.
Something.
But like a choice Scarf, Modest Thundurus T will outspeed and kill just about everything on his team outside of like Chansey, Nidoqueen, and Hippopotas. And then, you know, Cubchoo has 2 offensive fighting types, so Chansey's not a problem. I don't think Hippopotas or Nidoqueen does anything to like a Spadef Vaporeon. So that switches in on those guys, and you know, Blastoise as a Zmon and Manaphy are not really touching Espadef Vaporeon as well. And then if like Omastar can come and Shell Smash, and if Riolu decides to bring Rain, then it's game over right there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Riolu has to bring Rain though. It's kind of his team.
He hasn't brought it the first 3 weeks though.
Has he not? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe that's why. I mean, he hasn't been tuned. You said a 4. I was gonna say a 5-0 to Cubchoo.
I said 4 or 5-0. I think Cubchoo's like the thing with Riolu is he's got like if Nidoqueen, like to an extent Manaphy or Nidoqueen, but Crobat or Beedrill can get in on a certain situation, and it's going to be at some point though. If those 4 come, you're going to end up in a situation where you have to sack off 1 or 2 mons.
Yeah.
Like Cubchoo's team doesn't have the walls for all 4 of those.
No.
So I think at some point he's going to have to sack off 1 or 2 mons, just to get himself in a better situation. But then, as soon as that situation happens, Cubchoo's team is going to roll through like 3 or 4 of Riolu's Pokemon before that situation comes in, and then Riolu's not going to be able to put himself in that situation again.
I mean, he could bring defensive almost there. You never know. You never know.
I would see that as a mistake because Omastar gets Swift Swim, and the potential to go against.
Fair. We'll have to see what happens though. I mean, there are a few things going Riolu's way. I mean, Beedrill's strong, Crobat's strong, but it's definitely uphill. Do you want to move on, or do you want to say anything else on this?
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. Next we have me and Swag. I actually play Swag literally on the day we're recording this in a few, not minutes, but in an hour or so. So this is definitely a very, very intense game. Joey, I'll let you take this away. You could say whatever you want on this. Actually, I might turn it on, actually.
Okay, so yeah, he has something that's weak to ice. So bring Ice Shard on Weavile. I'll give you that free advice right there.
Thanks, man.
When I first looked at Swagstar's team, I was kind of like in doubt of what it could potentially do. But like looking at it, there's a lot of potential there. Like Garchomp, Entei, and then Raikou as well. Like those 3 as an offensive core, that's pretty deadly. And his Mega Pick with Mega Slowbro, I can't tell if I like it or if I dislike it, because until he Mega Evolves, he can just switch in, take a hit, get the Regenerator, and switch out.
Yeah. I think it's definitely an interesting one. I think his cores are really strong. You know, his Fairy, Dragon, Steel. Garchomp is great. Togetic I think is very, very good. And then Ololan starts down a little bit. And his Water, Fire, Grass is a little bit of the same, where Entei and Slowbro are great. And then Vileplume is okay, and then Swadloon is not very great either. So it's interesting.
You dropped Como-O for Goodra, and I think this round it does not help you because like I know his Fairy type is Togetic, which could always switch in, but if like a defensive Como-O could kind of do some work against like the likes of like a defensive Como-O could do some work against Raikou, Entei, and Garchomp. So like that's definitely something that would have helped you out a little bit there. And I mean, it really comes down to, I think, how healthy he keeps Garchomp and Raikou, and how many switch-ins his Entei is allowed. Because if those are in on you and forcing you to switch, you don't have great switch-ins to that. To those, like those 3. But if he has to like sack something or have something take damage, like pivoting in and out to get those things in freely, then eventually it'll wear down. So it kind of comes to a match of who has the better matchup at the start of each turn. Whoever had like at the start of each turn, whichever 2 Pokemon are on the field, whoever has the better matchup in those will end up taking the game. If they have about, I'd say anywhere from 60 to 70% of those beginning turns in their favor.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. Do you want to move on, or?
Yeah, let's keep going.
let's keep going. We move on to Jax and Demonic. Just make sure that's correct, and I believe it is.
Yes.
Jackson's been doing very, very well. I've loved how he's used Zygarde the last few weeks. That Dragon Dance sweep on Riolu is really, really strong, and he's definitely proven that, you know, his team, while, I mean, I think a lot of us were a little bit skeptical at the start, he's used it really, really effectively. Demonic, on the other hand, you know, unfortunately, he's kind of what's expected. I feel like his team, you know, lets him down a lot, and it's just kind of unfortunate that Demonic's his draft has really screwed him over. And I think there's actually like bursts of really, really good ideas, but his team doesn't allow him to actually really take advantage of them. So, and Jax's team is really, really strong against Demonics. So, Joey, what do you think?
I'm not sure on this. I'm pretty sure Demonic dropped. I thought Demonic dropped something and picked up a hazard removal, but I can't be certain this week if he has or not.
It doesn't say anything on here.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything from either of those, so I'm going to double check just to make sure, because I don't want any confusion.
Yeah. But I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But yeah, like I'll just go. So first of all, like if Jax gets up one Dragon Dance with the Zygarde and the Hydreigon isn't Scarf, it could just be over.
Yeah.
Really?
No, he did. He hasn't. So, you know, Jax gets up hazards with Skarmory. So, and Skarmory gets up hazards on Kartana. It gets hazards up on physical Lucario. It gets hazards up pretty much on Tyranitar, on Gallade, on Cofagrigus to an extent. He just, and maybe, yeah, kind of on the Gastrodon. The one thing he's going to have to worry about, which is something that Zilix brought up, which is something that I think Demonic's going to end up using, is going into Ditto as a way of copying opponents' hazard setters or hazard removals and using Ditto in that role. Mm-hmm. So, like if Jax is going to bring hazard stack, he's got to be careful that he doesn't give that Ditto a chance to hazard stack back and force a potential defog if he goes with that, or a rapid spin from Hitmonlee. Because the second you go for that rapid spin, the Ditto comes in, transforms into your rapid spinner, and he gets rid of the hazards as well. So even though it does get you a little switch initiative, if your offense is based around hazard stack, and Ditto can kind of shut that down a little bit. But that being said, you know, nothing on his team really wants to take a Dragon Dance 1,000 Arrows from Zygarde 50%. Primarina kind of deals with a lot of stuff outside of Kartana.
It does actually. I didn't think about that. It just kind of was.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a hard hitter, but it can take a lot of hits from the stuff that it can deal really well with. And then, you know, Snorlax and Skarmory are... I thought that was a really cool combination that he pulled off in the draft, and I'm glad to see it working out well. And I think Jax picks this one up 3-0.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, honestly, I go 4-0. I think if he uses the... I mean, we didn't really talk about Silvally yet, but Silvally with one parting shot into the Zygarde, it could just be over. I was thinking about if Demonic was to use the Ditto to, you know, switch into Zygarde, get the stat boosts from Dragon Dance, and I was thinking, oh, then it'd be pretty good. But Jax, if the Skarmory's still alive, he's still kind of safe from that. So I don't really see any way, unless Demonic really pulls out something, you know, crazy like maybe a Dragon Dance Tyranitar on, I wouldn't even know, Thunderous maybe. Maybe he's able to do something like that. But I predict this to be like a 4-0 in Jax's favor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-0 just because at some point Demonic's going to realize that his team is just has to be run hyper offensively, and he's just going to have to use that early game when hazards get up on him to just hit as hard as he can and try to put some dents into stuff. And I think that's... If Demonic realizes that, then it's a 3-0. If he doesn't, then it's going to be like a 4 or 5-0. Because he can't play his team like other people play their teams. Because he doesn't... Like, there's no way he's running Defog Kartana.
Yeah.
That's an absolute waste. So you just got to take those first turns to just set up and try to hit hard.
We'll see. We'll move on though. We move on to Joey's game. Actually, Joey you take on Dork this week too.
I do.
Okay, all right. So we played Dork I played Dork in week 2, and you know, it was definitely an unfortunate game. I made a lot of misplays, and I think both of you are doing very, very well. But up until the point where I realized you dropped Gengar, I was like, I feel like Dork has a slight edge on you. You know, stuff like Mudsdale taking on Victini, Celesteela kind of sits in front of Spencer. Now that I see you have the Gengar, it kind of shifts my opinion a little bit. Obviously, I think those things are still very, very valid. And stuff like Galvantula has a decent matchup against him, but Galvantula could possibly die in the first few turns, you never know. But I feel like Gengar is actually fantastic for you. Able to outspeed most things on his team, except for Alakazam and Choice Scarfer. And able to hit things really, really hard. And he kind of has to go on a Mudsdale every single time. And I think... I don't know about this one. I really don't know. He has Lantern now instead of Rabombi, which Lantern is... it's pretty decent against your team, actually. I mean, possibly swapping to Victini.
It's a lot better for his team.
Yeah, I agree that Rabombi, yes. Yeah.
Rimbombi was not doing anything for his team. Lantern at least provides him something. So I say that's a positive game for him. As far as my notes go, he's got a defensive team, and I've played Doruk. This will be the 3rd time I've played him in season, and I've lost both times by like 5-0. So one time he brought hyper offense, and I screwed up a couple things in my team building, which caused me to lose. So, but when he went defensive, which his team is right now, I could not break it down. So it's really scary for me seeing him with this defensive team. I'm honestly not worried about Darmanitan or Alakazam. Like, his offensive threats do not scare me. It's him possibly taking down my defensive threats.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting game for sure. I don't want you to say too much because you might, you know. I mean, this is probably going up after. But.
I mean, you're not uploading this tonight, are you?
Probably not. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will if I can get it up as fast as I can. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I'm going with Doruk to win this one. I'm not feeling insanely confident about this one. If I'm going 3-0 Doruk. I think Buzzwole, it's a lot bulkier on the physical side, so Mega Pinsir does not have an easy time with it.
Well, surely a return still kills.
A return kills, but if he scarfed Buzzwole, then he outspeeds, and Quick Attack does doesn't even do half.
Fair. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we'll move on. So, you know, I don't want you to say it. You just said a lot there, but I don't know. Who cares? We move on to the final game. We have Yoler versus Farouk. Yoler has been doing too great this season, but he started I believe he's 1-2, right?
Yes. He won his last one. He played... I can pull it up for you. He played Demonic.
Demonic. And he pulled back, I think it was a 3-0 or a 5-0.
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure, but he did get hit.
Yoler has a win now, and I'm really happy for him. He's definitely making you know, a lot better decisions in team building and stuff like that. And he doesn't have Umbreon, he has Mandibles. And his team, you know, it's pretty mixed. I mean, the start of it's really, really good, and then you have Jellicent, which is great, and some of the other stuff is really, really good as well. But you know, it kind of lacks a lot of impact. Farouk, on the other hand, is the opposite. He has too much offense. But I mean, Joy, what do you think?
Well, I understand what Yodeler did for his 2 moves. He traded away Haircross to you for the Vikavolt, and he also got the Mandibuzz, because before that, he had essentially no switch-ins to Earthquake. So even though he has Excadrill, which is one of the most powerful Earthquake users, he still didn't have a great answer to Earthquake. And he did have a lot of answers on a lot of other stuff as well, and I think Umbreon definitely underwhelmed as far as its defensive capabilities. So I think Mandibuzz will help him a little bit there, along with Jellicent. I'm not exactly sure what the Vikavolt is, but that could definitely just be for slow Volt Switch, which would be pretty nice. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on Shaman and Delphox to be his special offensive threats, and they're not great in that regard. I've used Delphox before, and I've used Shaman before, and both of them cannot be reliably used for hitting stuff hard. His sand core is like the best sand core there is.
Yeah.
But like that being said, Farouk has the same thing that he had against Doruk. All he has to do is get that Mega Charizard X to +2, and he wins.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think a physically defensive Jellicent takes 2. I know a physically defensive Granbull, even at like a +1 attack, will not take a Flare Blitz.
No.
And physically defensive Mandibuzz will not take a +2 Dragon Claw or a +2 Flare Blitz. And if he gets the +2, it's over. It just depends on that. And then the other thing is, he also does not have great switch-ins to Battle Bond Greninja.
No.
Like he can run Specs Battle Bond Greninja with Hydro Pump, Water Shuriken, Ice Beam, and Dark Pulse, and that hits everything on Yodeler's team insanely hard. So, the thing with Draft League is Greninja can come in and revenge kill midway through the game and get its Battle Bond, and by that point it's kind of over. And the other thing too, the reason I brought up the Earthquake switch-ins for Yodeler is Farouk doesn't have an Earthquake Abuser. So the defensive switch-ins that Yodeler made to to try and help against Earthquake do not help him this time around. The thing that with Yodeler's team, however, is he could bring Mold Breaker Excadrill, and there is not a great switch-in for Earthquake at that point for Farouk's side.
Well, Delmise.
I mean, Delmise would be the only thing that could potentially do anything, but then you can switch. You have like answers to that as well. So like a Choice Scarf, Mold Breaker, Earthquake. That Delmise is essentially the only thing that wants to switch in and take that, and Excadrill is powerful enough that Delmise is not taking a lot of those.
Exactly. I mean, Farouk's team is definitely. I mean, I think Yodeler definitely has a lot of. He has to rely a lot on Hippowdon to take on stuff like Alola Marowak, Charizard to a certain extent, Medicham, Hitmontop.
I don't think the Alolan Marowak is too much of a threat for Yodeler's team.
No,
because
I don't think it either.
You've got the Mandibuzz. To a certain extent, you have Delphox who can 1v1 it with Shadow Ball. Jellicent can kind of 1v1 it if it's physically defensive. Mandibuzz can switch in. Hippowdon can switch in. And Excadrill 1v1s it really easily. So I don't think Alolan Marowak is going to be much of a problem. I think the problems are going to be the Mega Charizard X, the Battle Bond Greninja, and if the Hippowdon switches in on potentially a Kyurem and he goes for Z-Hail, then Yodeler's in a huge problem as well.
Yeah, I don't really see any way where Yodeler comes out of this like a dominant win. I think he still could definitely win, maybe a 1-0, 2-0, but definitely no higher than that. And I think more than likely Farouk will take it, maybe a 3-0.
I'm rooting for Yodeler. I really want him to win because that would be nice. Because Farouk is in my division, and like he's not only in my conference, he's in my division, and he's ahead of me right now. So a Yodeler win would be really nice. But I see Farouk taking this one probably 2-0.
Yeah.
I think he gets a chance. He sets up a Dragon Dance later on with Mega Charizard. He gets to the point where he only needs one Dragon Dance from Mega Charizard X and then sweeps.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely a tough game for Yodeler, but I mean, we're hoping for the best. That's the Pick'em Cruise. I'd like to thank Joey for coming on here. The link to Joey's channel will obviously be in the description down below. Check it out. He will have. Are you uploading your battle against?
Oh yeah. Yeah, against Doruk. Oh yeah, those come out.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you do the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Tactics come out Tuesday. The battles usually come out Wednesday.
Yeah, so go over for that. The battle, our battle against Swag will come out probably Saturday or Sunday. I don't know when that's going up. I don't even know when this video is going up. But I'd like to thank you for watching. Like I said, it's going to be a crazy week, and Pick'em Cruise will be back again next week. With that being said, have yourselves a wonderful day, and bye bye.